we're back with another episode of a book, a feast, and a bottle.
A book, a feast, and a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You actually remembered it. I never do. You should be doing the intros, maybe. Um, so this time we're doing. Well, if we did, we read the book "We've Always Lived in the Castle" by Shirley Jackson, and this was kind of a heavy one for me because it was. I don't know if I was dreading it or what, but this was a difficult read. I feel like I didn't like the characters. I felt like at first, well, I'm still not sure if I actually liked the story. I think I didn't, but the people were they were just insufferable.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little bit hard to read. It sounded interesting because it had good ratings on Goodreads, and it was gothic horror, like psychological uh genre book, and those type of books usually interest me. So this one was a little different.
Yeah, so just jumping in right away, like the main character, who's who I assume is the main character, Mary Cat, who is what I also assume the writer sees herself as. She is. They can't quite make up their mind whether she's able of mind to take care of herself or not. But throughout the book, she pretty much demonstrates that she's she's running the household.
Yeah. While simultaneously just being constantly lost in her own imaginary world. Um,
Constance was fucking useless.
Constance was just always cowering and being very pearl clutchy and
Yeah.
uh,
She didn't really have a freaking like an excuse like the uncle did, like Julian did. But like Constance was just yeah, like you said, pro clutchy. Like she was just. I kind of get the feeling like there were two teenagers. One is the older teenager that is just being dramatic and trying to fuck their cousin.
yeah. And the other one is emotionally immature, like psychopath,
Yeah. Well,
basically.
they made it seem like she would like actually had some issues.
Yeah, no, she literally from the beginning of the story till the end of the story, the only two things this girl really talks about is I wish everybody was dead and why can't I live on a moon?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, having issues though, and think wishing everybody was dead. Like that's an attitude somebody could take without having like mental problems. I think.
I get that. It could be that, some of it's just teenage angst, but she also did murder almost her entire family. So
And again, if what was she like 11?
12.
12, 11, 12? If an 11 or 12-year old murders their entire family because somebody coerced them to, is it their fault?
Yeah, but we don't know if she was
I,
coerced. It
I
was
kind of
remember
felt like Constance sort of that wink, wink, and sort of meant that.
maybe. Um, I know that she mentioned, being aware that it was her sister that had done it, Mary Cat, but I don't remember anything that suggested that Constance coerced her.
Um, I kind of felt like I felt like it was implied that she had coerced her. Like I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's because I don't trust Constance, and I think Constance was way too ready to just like give up her life and become the witch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody in that story had something wrong with them. Um, all the villagers in the story were uh pretty hateful and self-centered and you know um and cruel. uh The other rich families also, I guess, were pretty bad.
Yeah, dude, all the whole dynamic of like these are the rich families and this is the one that we hate. Like it was a very like Tim Burton-esque like Edward Scissorhands type of like weird village that you know what I mean? Like I didn't
Uh,
it wasn't consistent.
yeah, it helps a little bit to frame it with the fact that the author who wrote this was an old woman born in 1919, and she died in the 60s, and she had this whole witch aesthetic thing going for
Oh
her.
yeah, but beside that, she was a fucking weirdo.
A complete weirdo. So it helps to like with that in mind, the story makes more sense. But I feel like the characters are pretty shallow and unlikable. The plot is pretty shallow. Just nothing is ever really explained. It's just nothing about it was satisfying to me. I mean, some of those things maybe I could like it'd be fine. In a different story, sometimes there's a reason they don't explain everything that happens in a story, and I get that, but I feel like with this one, just nothing about this story was satisfying. That was just very frustrating.
Yeah, you know what though? I kind of do feel like it did its job when like as I was reading it though because I was like I hated it. It was kind of like it was an uncomfortable feeling of just like I hate these people but I want to know how it resolves or what happens next. I want the answer, but I don't. It's almost like I was spying on somebody I hate him, but I was already like committed to it.
Yeah, it's they really, if nothing else, they engaged you in the story by making a bunch of characters that were annoying but still somewhat engaging. You know, trying to understand their motivations, and because nothing is being explained to you, you're just constantly left going, okay, why is this happening? No.
There were some
So
particularly dislikable people, like Charles.
oh
Like his fucking dick just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm your cousin." So and then because of the rules of this fucking archaic place where they have like their manners force them into allowing this dude to come in and start fucking stealing their shit. That was like a really frustrating part for me to read too, because like you just fucking hate this guy. And when he's sitting there like, oh, we better figure out a way to punish you and shit to the kid, it's like somebody fucking stand up for her. What the fuck?
yeah, that's a point in the story where I actually started to feel bad for her a little bit. Is because she's um everybody, even her own sister, who was supposed to be the only person who actually cared about her, I guess, the one that she loved more than anyone, even her own sister was just gonna bend over and let this guy fuck everybody. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was an unrealistically annoying character.
Hmm.
Julian, I never liked Julian from it. I thought he was gonna be like he was a dick, but I thought he was gonna be like the one killing everybody.
Um, I at first thought that Mary Cat was the killer because it started off the book with her point of view. Well, it was the whole book was from her point of view, but it started off with her in a village, um, just going off unhinged about how she wished everybody would drop dead. And then, so I mean, it just kind of already painted her as the killer, but I felt that was too obvious. So, somebody like Julian could have been like another, less obvious, but still made, sense person to be responsible, like another family member killing off their wealthy relatives for personal gain. I mean, it's a classic story. It's theme you see repeated frequently.
So, but I guess in a way that means that they did. I feel like they did their job in making me care about the characters at least a little bit because I was annoyed when Mary Cat got like talked down to by Charles.
Another thing that took me a little while to figure out was why it is that Mary Cat constantly felt like she needed to be nicer to her Uncle Julian. I guess she must have had some kind of regrets about trying to kill him, and because he was the only one who survived, I guess she felt like she had to make up for it constantly. It took me a while to figure out why she was saying that.
I didn't even think about it until now. That makes sense though. Um. Oh fuck! I was gonna say something. I forgot. Uh. Oh. The thing about her going to the moon and everything, that was, they play it off like it was some like childish fascination or like some like thing like whatever, but it seems pretty almost normal for somebody to go through what they did, where they murdered a bunch of people, and like the feelings of guilt and shit, for there to be some sort of escapism.
Yeah, like she was just trying to deal with the trauma of what she had done by creating an imaginary world where everything was perfect for her inside her own head to protect herself. Yeah, that makes sense too. Um, and then another thing about the story that I just couldn't uh, just frustrated me was at the end, the only people who were even remotely trying to help these girls. And again, we don't know how selfish their motivations were or were not, but it did seem like they were earnestly trying to help them, but they were just gonna, what, live in a ruined mansion being fed food by strangers who fucking thought there were witches living there until they died. That was just a weird wrap up to the whole thing.
It was a weird thing to just like accept, like okay, if Constance actually like was any normal of a person, then why did she just give up and I'll just be a witch, live in a fucking ruined house? Like she must have been like, they're both, that right there at the end proved that they were both already little fucks.
Yeah, and the whole thing where Charles pops up with a friend or with an acquaintance who's
For one
wanting,
last scam.
yeah, for one last scam. And then to like even remotely be remorseful and basically sitting there going, "Oh, she was the one that got away about his cousin." It's disgusting. The whole thing was just uh, annoying, frustrating, and just
I'm never gonna get used to like all the cousin fucking in like older books.
yeah, me either. I don't get it. Um, but yeah, it was very frustrating read from beginning to end.
I think we need a happy book next.
Yeah, I think we need a little bit of a palate cleanse. Hopefully the next one's a little more enjoyable. Um, and did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think that's, yeah, that's all I can think of, baby.
All right. Well, we'll get to the food next.
All right.
This time we're talking about shredded chicken salsa verde.
Yeah, there isn't like a good name to to call this. Is pollo en salsa verde, chicken in salsa verde. It's not always shredded. There's so many variations to this, and there's so many like ways to do this right that I don't know. This is just one of them.
All right. This one's a two-parter because it involves making the salsa and then the meat portion. Um, so what you do is you start off by setting your oven to broil, and you're gonna want to put one of the racks all the way up, so that your roaster pan's at the top of the oven, and you're gonna inside the roasting pan, you want to put your onion, garlic, tomatillos, your peppers, and then put it in there for about 10 minutes till they get a little black on the outside.
If you don't have a roasting pan, you could probably get away with just putting them in aluminum. They're gonna leak a little bit, so that's something to watch out for. That can be kind of a pain in the ass to get transferred. It's better to use a roasting pan, because then that way you added water and got like all of the contents and out, right?
Yeah, so once everything is roasted, you want to put it in a blender. Put a little bit of water in the pan and make sure that you like use a bowl scraper and get everything that's stuck to the pan out and then dump it into the blender. Um, and then you're gonna squeeze in a couple of limes, add in like half a bundle of cilantro, add salt to taste, and then blend it up and enjoy delicious salsa.
Yeah, that's the salsa for like it's the salsa for this dish, but it's gonna make so much. It's gonna make a little bit extra, because I don't know. I don't know if anybody has figured this out yet, but if you listen to more of what we make, you will. We do not understand portions, so we just make either massive amounts or small amounts, and but yeah, so you're never gonna be mad that you have extra salsa though, especially with this green salsa.
Yeah, nothing wrong with leftovers, especially if they're good ones. Um, and then for the meat portion, you basically just boil some frozen chicken thighs with a little bit of water and the lid covered until the water reduces out of the pot. You want just a tiny little bit left at the bottom so that the chicken's not burning. That should be mostly oil at that point. And then you're gonna want to add some olive oil, your garlic and onions, and your red bell peppers. And you're gonna let those saute until the onion is translucent and everything is nice and aromatic. And then you're gonna add your seasonings. You're gonna find that we use oregano a lot here in this house. And salt and pepper, of course, and garlic and onion powder.
That's like house rules though.
Mm-hmm. And now these are just the ones that we like to use the most, but there are other seasonings that you might prefer. Some people like to use like cumin's a pretty common thing in a lot of cooking, especially in the US. So I personally don't care for it as much. It's okay in some things. And it very easily can become the dominant flavor if you're not careful with it. So I tend to just not use it.
It's a point of contention for Mexican food, because yes, it's used in some Mexican food, but if I taste it, I'm like, oh, this what is this Tex-Mex, like influence.
Yeah, so obviously, you can play around the seasonings a little bit and get a taste for ones that you like. But here we're using salt, pepper, oregano, and then garlic and onion powder. And then you just make sure that the chicken gets nice and shredded and that your garlic, onion, and peppers mix in real good. And then once that's done, you pour in salsa so that everything's coated. And let it simmer for a little bit. And then after about 20 minutes, you can turn off the heat and let it sit and enjoy.
Yeah, the amount of time is just like the longer, the more it's gonna like absorb. But and then this once you have um the meat in the salsa, we put it on top of chips, tortilla chips, to be like chilaquiles. But you can put this in tacos. You could put this in tamales. You could put this in a torta. You could put. There's nothing I can't imagine this on.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. It's another recipe that's pretty easy, relatively inexpensive, and just amazingly delicious. So
Yeah. And like you could just change the salsa and you have like a slightly different meal. Like that's the magic of it. Like I don't think I'd ever get tired of shredded chicken. Like it's just a sponge for flavor, you know.
mhm. And whatever leftover salsa you have, you can put it on anything. So we pretty much always have salsa made in this house.
Ideally. Yeah, when we run out of cilantro, it's a sad day.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this one.
Sweet. All right. Bye everyone.